Hi and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be doing a summer favourites video. So these are the plants that are right now making me really happy. There are some, as was always the case with anyone's houseplant collection, some good and some bad things going on, and the bad things are really just that there's pests hanging around. I've seen thrips, I've got red and white spider mites various places. I've just come back from 10 days in Greece, and so obviously with me being away, it's very difficult for me to keep on top of the pests. So I just showered everything before I went. So nothing is like horrendous, but I just know that they're around and I just need to keep on top of it. But despite that, there are some really exciting things happening as well. So that's what I'm going to be showing you in today's video. Before I get into the video, if you're new here, hi, my name is Alexis and this is Wild Houseplants. I'm a houseplant enthusiast. And I also work as a houseplant technician, which basically means when I'm not looking after my plants, I'm looking after other people's. If you don't follow me over on Instagram or TikTok, you can find me there at Wild Houseplants. And if you do enjoy this video today, I'd love it if you hit that subscribe button below because it really does help out my channel. Okay, let me show you some lovely plants. Okay, so the first plant I have to show you today is my Hoya Crimson Princess. Now, if you're not into Hoya, like I get it, like I'm not a massive Hoya person. I have maybe 4 Hoya. And I never really, when I first got into plants, I didn't really get the Hoya thing. I wasn't like, they kind of looked quite samey to me. I wasn't really that like convinced about the kind of waxy leaves and that kind of thing. But the reason why people get so excited about Hoya is for the blooms. Now, I've had this Hoya Crimson Princess for, I'm going to say about 5 years. And I know that it's definitely not the quickest to bloom. And that has definitely been my experience with it. But I've always liked it. And I've kind of, since moving into this house, I've had it in my south-facing window here in my kitchen. It gets absolutely blasted with light, and when the sun is out, it's getting thousands and thousands of foot candles, and I think that's really been the thing that's helped this happen. Oh, hang on, I've got a bumblebee. Oh, it's gone out. It's okay. Okay, so what has happened is it's bloomed, and I just cannot believe it. Like, I saw the peduncle forming just before I went away on holiday, and I was like, oh no, the blooms are going to come out while I'm away. But they waited for me to come back from holiday and I am just in love. I just think those are spectacular. They're like little velvet purple flowers with a little star in the middle, and it smells like floral chocolate. Like if you were to make rose flavored chocolate. That's what it smells like. It's unbelievable. And my Hoya Bella, I'll put in a picture, is always blooming. She is a prolific bloomer, but this one has never bloomed for me before. So it really is so exciting. And I didn't know how beautiful the blooms were either. And the smell is just amazing as well. So yeah, I think she's looking really lovely and really full at the moment. And then of course, on top of that, to get a bloom out of her, such a beautiful bloom, I'm just ecstatic. And I'm wondering if I'm going to get any other peduncles forming, if she's in a sort of bloom state at the moment. So watch this space, because that would be amazing if I was able to get more. But I mean, just the size of that bloom as well, I'm just like a little bit speechless about it. But yeah, number 1 on the list is my Hoya Crimson Princess, because just wow. Next up on the list is my Aglaonema Maria Christina. Now, I don't know why this one is making me so happy at the moment. I think it's because I'm just, as per my t-shirt, really enjoying sagey green at the moment. And these leaves are just so gorgeous. It's that sort of bluey green colour with the variegation. And she's just looking so nice and full at the moment. And she lives on the fireplace, on the mantelpiece in my living room, and she's just looking really nice and full and yeah, just lovely. This one grows in semi-hydro, and she's got loads of lovely tasty roots in there. And yeah, I'm just really pleased with this. My Aglaonemas have been a little bit slow to grow. They haven't really like massively taken off very quickly, but They are such versatile plants. They will tolerate lots of different light levels, and I think if you are someone who really likes calathea but you don't want the drama of a calathea, then Aglaonemas are definitely for you, because they've got this beautiful foliage and they come in a variety of different colours. You can get like reds and pinks as well, but for me it's just the sagey green, that bluey green colour that's really makes me happy. So yeah, second one on the list is this one. The next one on the list is my Florida green. If you are looking for a climbing philodendron that grows really ridiculously quickly, then I would say any of the Florida. I do also have the Florida Ghost, but I did have to cut it recently because I just didn't really like how it's growing. So I do have 2 sections now of that I need to put back together again. But again, another fantastic grower, and they will size up so quickly if you get them on a moss pole. And the Florida greens, like this, the green one, are so inexpensive. I think I got this, picked it up with, it was maybe like a 3 or 4 leaf plant for like £12. And now it's this absolute beast. And I think what you can also see here, as well as the fact that it's putting out this new leaf here, is that it is putting out a flower as well, and an inflow. And now philodendron flowers, like most kind of aroid flowers, like they're not particularly anything to look at, but I do think it's interesting, and I am letting it just flower, and that's what the plant wants to do. So I thought I would just let it do it and see what happens. So it has been working on this flower for maybe around about a month now. So we'll just see. I thought I'd just let it do its thing and see. I'm not planning on pollinating it or anything like that. I just don't quite have the energy to do that at the moment, along with all the pest issues and catching up from being away from my plants and things like that. But yeah, still really interesting to see, and yeah, highly recommend this one. Like I say, it's on a moss pole, but it is just in like a chunky soil mix, and it probably needs a bigger pot, to be honest, because I can see it's got just, oh, that's the door closing, so many roots in that pot there. So it probably does need a little upsize at some point. And of course we're going to get to the top of the pole soon, so maybe I will be doing a chop and extend with this one. But yeah, next one on the list is this, the Florida green. The next one is my Epipremnum neon, or neon pothos, on a moss pole. I don't know if you remember, a few videos back in one of my plant chores videos, we transferred this from a wire mesh pole onto this plastic back pole, and I wasn't really sure how it was going to go. I was a little bit nervous about it, and we did lose quite a lot of leaves from the bottom because I guess the plant got a little bit stressed and it just rejected its oldest leaves, which is kind of fine. I'd rather it did that than got rid of the newest leaves. But it's now taken really, really fantastically to this pole. It's got loads and loads of roots going up and down the back of this moss pole, and the leaves are now sizing up so beautifully. And on top of that, I'm getting this kind of like splashy dark green variegation on each leaf, which you can get with neon pothos, but it doesn't necessarily always do it on every leaf. But the last sort of 4 leaves have all been highly sort of variegated, which I just love. I think it just adds to it as well. So just really pleased that sometimes when you do these things, you don't know how they're going to quite work out, but this one has gone to plan. So I'm really happy about that one. And yeah, this one is in semi-hydro and moss pole combination, which for me is a combination that works really well. I think sometimes when you've got a chunky soil mix with a moss pole, you're having to water the moss before the soil is ready for a water, and that can sometimes lead to root rot. Whereas with the semi-hydro moss pole combo, I find that's not an issue. I have been asked before about how it works with an organic substrate such as moss and an inorganic substrate such as semi-hydro or pon. But for me, there's been no issue, and I actually find it's much better option, because as I say, as I'm watering the moss pole, any excess water that goes down into the semi-hydro can just sit at the bottom of the decorative pot and provide a reservoir for the semi-hydro. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. But yeah, it's a winning combo for me. the sun's gone in, so I hope you can still see me okay. But the next one on the list is my Anthurium Crystallinum Hybrid, and I've had this plant on many a favourites video before, because she's just an absolutely winning plant. She's just, I don't think I've hardly ever lost a leaf on this plant, and so every time she brings out a new leaf, she's not like killing off one of her other leaves. And so she's just got so many leaves at the moment, so she just looks so wonderful and lovely and full. And despite the fact that there are currently many pests in plants around her, for whatever reason, I don't know why, she hasn't got pests this time, and normally she is really pest prone, but for whatever reason she hasn't, and this is her new leaf, and it's just absolutely perfect. She's also got an inflow, but I'm not planning to pollinate her, so I'll probably just chop that one off. But yeah, I just absolutely love her. She can do no wrong in my eyes. And this one is in semi-hydro as well, and I just put some moss on the top just to keep the top aerial roots happy. And I'm just going to see if I can try and pull her out. There might be some water at the bottom, but just to show you the roots. Yeah, she's dripping quite a lot, but can you see those aerial roots there? Not aerial roots, sorry, her roots just coming out the bottom of the pot, not aerial roots, just her normal roots. They're just so big and chunky. I just absolutely love these Anthurium roots. So yeah, she's a big girl. She's getting very, very heavy, and I will need to think about sizing her up into a bigger pot again. And I don't know. She's just getting a bit big, but absolutely love her. 10 out of 10. If you come across a Crystallinum hybrid, I would 100% recommend getting one, because they are, for me, one of the easiest anthuriums that you can grow. Up next is this one, and this is a new plant for me. This is my Monstera Thai Constellation. I picked this up in my local garden centre for £40, which, if you think about how much these plants used to be worth, £40 is ridiculous, and for the size of the plant, I'm really happy. Now, of course, it has been a bit battered. Like, this leaf was coming out when I purchased it, and obviously it'd been in transit in a van somewhere, and it did get a little bit battered while it was unfurling. But I'm not overly worried. I need to just tidy it up a little bit, but overall, I think the plant is a really good size for £40, and it already feels like, even with this leaf just unfurling, that it's just grown massively. I haven't repotted it or anything else yet, so I do need to check out the roots and see if it needs to size up, and maybe in time I might get it into semi-hydro, but I do need to buy some more because I've run out. But yeah, for now I'm just loving how she's sort of like spreading out. She definitely does seem to be wanting to crawl, which isn't ideal, because they just take up a lot of space that way. So I'll see if I can maybe try and get her to be a little bit more upright when I repot her. But yeah, I think this is one of only 2 new plants that I've bought this year. This one and the little Anthurium pallidiflorum, which is a wish plant of mine for a long time, whereas this was definitely a spontaneous purchase. But you'll notice, if you've watched any of my previous videos, that a lot of the plants featured in this video, apart from this one, are ones that you will have seen before, because the main thing for me this year was that I wanted to try and enjoy and get the best out of the plants that I already had, rather than just constantly bringing new plants into my collection. And also because I've now got quite a sort of ongoing pest issue, and it's because in our new house we've got this very much indoor, outdoor life, with bifolding doors that open all the way out, and we have them open a lot of the time. So what's happening in the garden is going to come through into the house, and that's just the reality of this, you know, new setup that I've got here in this house. So with that in mind, and also just trying to enjoy the plants that I have, yeah, like I say, this is only one of 2 plants that I've bought this year. But yeah, so So yeah, Monstera Thai Constellation, definitely not a plant I was ever planning on buying. And as my husband said, it looks very similar to my elbow, which of course, yes, I can see that there are obviously similarities. But for £40 for this size, I thought, well, it'd be rude not to. So yeah, Monstera Thai Constellation. Next up is my Filidendrin Gloriosum. I did do a care video on this plant a couple of videos back. So if you want more information on how I grew this plant from a very, very small plant, then go and check out that video. But yeah, this is a plant that, like, again, one of those plants that I didn't really want or wasn't that excited about, and I got it as part of a rescue box. But once it started sizing up and giving me these absolutely huge velvety pillowy leaves, I completely fell in love with it, and now it's one of my favorites, and it's taking like center of place in my collection. You can see that it has reached the end of the pot here, and so I have bought a new planter for it to go into that's going to be a little bit longer, that's going to help it continue to crawl and grow. But I've run out of semi-hydro, so I need to wait for that to arrive before I can plant this one up. But yeah, this one lives in semi-hydro, and it's just been such a winner for me. There is a little bit of thrippy activity here, which I noticed when I got back from holiday. So I will need to treat this plant. I have just been like killing them with my fingers when I've seen them, which I know sounds a bit gross, but you do get a bit gross with your houseplants and pests when you've had houseplants for so long. But yeah, I do need to treat this guy and then get him potted into his new bigger pot, and I think he'll be so, so happy. So yeah, Philodendron Gloriosum is the next one on the list. A couple of little ones next. This is my Bearpaw Cactus. And this is a calancho of some kind. I can't remember the exact type. I'll put it on the screen. But there's just something about this plant that makes me so happy. It sits on the window ledge in my bathroom. And every time I brush my teeth, I just look at it, and all its little tiny little leaflets coming off the main leaf that are absolutely just make me so happy. And they do fall off. And I think if I was to put them into a little sort of container of moss or soil or perlite, they would grow new plants. And I will probably do that at some point. I just haven't got round to it. But there's just something about this plant and the markings on the leaves that just make me really happy, even though it's small. You know, you can get a lot of joy from your small plants as well, not just only your really big plants as well. And the Bearpaw Cactus, just because I love those little paw-shaped leaves. It's just such a fun little plant, and it makes me happy as well every time I see it. So just a little mention for these two little plants. Up next is my Oxalis Triangularis, and she's another one that often features on my favourites list just because she's always grown so well for me. We did repot this one in a plant chores video a couple of months ago, and she's responded really well to that repot. She's definitely a bit one-sided at the moment because she sits facing out this way, so the back is a little bit on the bald side. Ideally she'd be like maybe on the kitchen table in the middle, and I can just rotate her, but she's just too big. She's too big, she takes up too much space, so she'll just stay where she is for now. But yeah, just such a winner for me. I have made a dedicated care video on this plant as well, so I will link that one down below too. She hasn't actually given me that many flowers this year. I don't know if that's to do with the repot or her light conditions in this house versus my old house, but I also don't really mind too much because the flowers only last for a few days and then they kind of die off. But yeah, still absolutely a winner. And again, for whatever reason, this plant has been really pest tolerant, i.e. not been getting pests, even when the other plants around it have. So I was thinking, like, with such a kind of thin leaf that the pests would love it, but no. So miraculously she is actually doing okay, and I haven't seen any pests on her for whatever reason. I don't know, maybe they don't like purple leaves. I'm not sure, but yeah, she is always a winner. Just such a lovely pop of colour, and she sits next to my neon Pothos, and I think the neon green next to the purple just looks so fun. So yes, an honorary mention for this one. This one is in my chunky soil mix, and it's got some nice things in there like cocoa husk chips, which are really good for moisture retentiveness because this plant is very, very thirsty. And so I do like to keep her more on the hydrated side, and I think that really helps as well. So you want a nice chunky mix so that you don't end up with a waterlogged soil, but you want some nice moisture retentive things in there to keep it moist, if that makes sense. So that's this one, Oxalis Triangularis. Thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope you've enjoyed looking at some of my favorite plants at the moment. As I say, I do think it's really important to try and find joy in the plants that you already have by either growing them in a different way, for example with my neon Pothos on a pole rather than the trailing version, or just you're trying to get the absolute best that you can out of your plants, and that's what I've really tried to do this year rather than buying lots of new plants all the time. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know some of the plants in your collection that are bringing you joy right now, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.